It comes and goes at different periods. The forum's chairperson, Ferial Adam, says this is a countrywide issue and needs a much more sustainable solution.
Most of our municipalities across the country are failing to provide water and sanitation services to people. When you have 70% of your wastewater treatment works spewing sewage into your rivers and streams, that is a disaster because it then affects river ecosystem health. When half of our water drinking systems is not fit for drinking, that is a disaster.
While government has established a task team to look into the water crisis, it doesn't see the issue as rising to the level of a national disaster, as it's still fixable. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
And 9 people are missing in California following an avalanche on Castle Peak. Officials said the group of 15 were caught up in the avalanche yesterday morning. According to authorities, the search is ongoing pending weather conditions. Experts have warned that the risk of the avalanche continuing on into today is very high. Gold is trading at $4,921.48 an ounce. The rand is at 15.98 to the dollar, 21.69 to the pound, 18.92 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $67.42 a barrel.
Well, at this stage in Centurion, there's an accident seen on the N1 northbound before Puerta Avenue, causing heavy delays. If you're traveling towards Sandton, driving through Melrose, traffic is a bit sluggish on the M1 northbound between Athol, Oaklands and Corlett.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 27 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, the lawyer for one of the accused in the murder of an e-hailing driver says his client will plead guilty.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Get your brain in the game and win big on the Brain of 702. Enter now on primemediaplus.com. T's and C's apply.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja.
Live, streaming countrywide
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 1 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, on this Wednesday, the 18th of February. A couple of things we're going to be chatting about today. We are asking a simple question. What is the etiquette in your home and the standard when it comes to visitors or you visiting? Who's responsible to greet first and why? Relationships have gone down because of people not greeting. Where one says you should have greeted the host, you were rude, and the other says no, but I want to hear from you, and I'll share a bit of a backstory about this conversation. Our finance feature for today, we're going to talk about South Africans exploring digital investing, and we've got the FSCA and JSE warning about online trading and investment scams. So Tinus Rautenbach will join us for that conversation. That is the business head at Clarity. Then we wrap up with a masterclass. We are with Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026 throughout the month, and we obviously are building up to the big day. Today we are talking art with Ndumiso Nyoni, award-winning illustrator, motion designer and performing artist at the Mahindra Fusion Fest for 2026. If you're wondering, yes, we're still going to be giving money away. Make sure you stay tuned for when you hear that it is time for you to send your details. Get in touch with us, 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702, using the hashtag 702 Afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
With Relebogile Mabotja.
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
I stumbled upon a very interesting experience where a woman is sharing how her relationship with her sister basically came to an end over a feeling of disrespect, of greeting and not greeting. Now, these individuals are in the US. The greeting thing in South Africa with our different cultures, I think, carries even more pressure. There are even sayings that come with things like, somebody will say to you, we didn't sleep together, why are you not greeting me, right? That's the direct translation. They'll say, did we sleep together? As in, were we in the same bed that you don't see a need to say good morning? You must greet me because it's the first time you're seeing me. Greetings are a big sign of respect in South Africa, a big sign of acknowledgement. If anything, it is something that the world celebrates, that we are the friendliest people. But when it comes to your home and having people in your home, who is responsible for greeting first? I will give a scenario before we play this audio. There is a scenario, I recall when we were younger, if there's a visitor in the house, you had to go down or go to the lounge to go and greet, especially if the visitors are older. You must go and say hello and don't be rude. That is always how I understood it, that the people must go and greet. As I've gotten older, things have changed. You know, when I was a mutsweti, I was a new mom. The English bundles today are struggling. When I was a new mom, there was no expectation for me to go downstairs and greet people. They must come upstairs to greet me. So there are circumstances where even as the host or the one of the family members that are there are those circumstances where you as the guest must go and find the person to greet. But what is the standard in your home? What for you? Like, will you be offended if you walk into the kitchen and there are visitors and they don't greet you? They look at you waiting for you to greet them. Or will you be offended if you are the visitor in somebody's home, somebody steps into the kitchen and they don't acknowledge you? Who is responsible for saying the hello? Who is justified in saying, Ike, you are rude? I want to hear from all of you on Audible 1-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. But take a listen to how the greeting issue got so deep that it compromised a woman's relationship with her sister.
She's my sister, but she's his wife. And that is something that I had to learn when having a relationship with my siblings as an adult. It had to be maybe 14 years ago. I was visiting my third oldest sister. I stopped by, we hung out, I hung out with the kids, and then afterwards I went home. So maybe a couple days after, I called her because I had something that I wanted to drop by. So I called her and my phone call went to voicemail. I didn't think anything of it. Waited a few hours, I called her again. Phone goes to voicemail. So I called immediately again because this isn't like her. She eventually answered the phone. And then I said, hey, I have such and such and so. I want to drop it by the house. I'll be over there at, this time. To which she replies, I can pick it up later if that's okay. Now this isn't like her. So I said, you know what, it's fine. Just tell me when a good time is to drop it by. She was silent for a moment. And then she said, this is hard for me to tell you, but the last time you were in my home, we felt very disrespected by you. And in fact, this is something that has gone on for a little while. So we're going to need you not to stop by. So of course I pressed. And she said, the last time you were here, you came into my home and you did not speak to my husband. Now, I wish I could tell you that I was mature and I handled this with grace, but I did not. I immediately went into justification. I immediately went into, we always do this, we live together, this is what we do, and all these other things. And then she had to politely end the call.
So she goes on to then say that in essence, the husband was like in the room. the husband was not even, it's not like the husband was walking around where she was. So imagine going to somebody's house, the kids are there in the lounge, you're playing with the kids, you're hanging out, and then you leave. The husband was in the room the whole time. Now, if I'm visiting somebody's house and your husband, even if you're my sister, is in the room, I'm not going to go and kokota on the room. Sorry, are you dressed? I just wanted to say hellos. Like, I would not do that. But this sister was deeply offended that you did not speak to my husband. So should this woman have actually gone into the room to greet the husband? Like, I need to know, I need to understand, because I'm also starting to realize, no, I'm lying, I realized this a long time ago. All of us were raised in very different homes. So I want to know about the etiquette in your home and what the rules are like when it comes to greeting. Can somebody be left to sleep, for example, when visitors are in the house? Do you wake your children up to go and greet visitors? 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line, 072-702-1702. We go to Semi in Centurion. Hi, Semi.
Good day, Relebogile.
Hey.
Relebogile, now from what I understand is this: if you walk into a room or a place and you find people there, you are the one who's supposed to greet them, not the other way around. So
wait, let me ask. So if you find people somewhere, you are the one that must greet?
Yes. Like in the case that you've mentioned, like a child is waking up and there's people maybe in the sitting room. That child, because if he found people there, he's supposed to greet.
I like that.
Even me right now, when I'm calling into a show, right? I'm coming into your space. You are not the one who's supposed to greet me first. I'm the one supposed to greet you first. And then you greet me after.
Yes. And I like how you've explained it, because it doesn't matter whether you're the visitor or the host. It's about who walked in and found people.
Yes. And unfortunately, I've worked in retail a lot, right? And customers will come to me. They won't greet me. They'll be like, just come in and say, where's Albany bread? And then when I respond, they expect that I'm the one supposed to greet them and then tell them where the product is. And I wouldn't do that. I'll just tell them, no, it's on the other aisle. And they'll say, no, you are rude. Why didn't you greet me? No, I wasn't being rude. You didn't greet me. I think it's the way people were raised differently, but I think it's just common sense. You can't walk into a person's space and expect them to greet you first. So
I would assume, Semine, that yes. Also if you get into an Uber or an e-hailing ride, you're the one that must, as you get in, say, hello, because I greet whenever I get into a ride.
Yes, you are the one who's supposed to greet the driver, not the driver greeting you first.
I got you. Hey, Semi, you explained it so nice. I love that, Semi Centurion. I mean, service workers, Semi raised something so important. When you go to ask for help at a shop, do you greet first or do you expect the worker to greet you first? Maybe it's not the same if you're standing in a queue and you're walking up to the till. But maybe help me understand who greets, whether it's the checker's till, you've been standing in the queue, you get there, as in you're responding to next customer. When you go up, do you wait for them to greet you first or do you greet? I think I greet first. Say, Dumela, hi, please can I have this many bags or whatever? Or do you stage other up and down waiting for somebody to say hello? All right, we're going to take a quick break. I see your calls, I see your messages and voice notes. We continue when we come back.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Can you be honest with us, Michael? Are you telling me that as Action SA, there were no other positions you were interested in? So even if they had given you 3 more positions, you didn't want it because you don't want to be part of the government in Ekurhuleni?
Correct. As a matter of fact, the response from our president to the mayor was, if you offer us the mayoralty, we'll consider. Because when we are led in a coalition by mayors who have proven incapable of leading complex complicated cities like Dada Marero, like Mayor Kazi here, is a situation where we'll find ourselves subjugated to inadequate leadership that fails the residents of Ekurhuleni at a critical time where we need to be the alternative. And you can't be the alternative if you're reporting to the people that you need to be the alternative to.
Clements Manyatela.
9 to 12 on 702.
Get your brain in the game because the brain of 702 is back with your chance to flex your general knowledge smarts. There's 3,000 Rand up for grabs every day, and Brain of the Week wins 10,000 Rand plus a spot in the finals to compete for the grand prize, 30,000 Rand cash. Enter on primemediaplus.com now. Then catch 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa and 702 Drive with John Perlman for the chance to be the brain of 702, TCs and more on primemediaplus.com.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. It's easy to apply. No medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Are you looking for the best spectacle and sunglass deal? With Specsavers buy one, get one offer, you get great value for money. Get a free pair of branded single vision prescription sunglasses up to 3,300 Rand when you purchase a comprehensive eye examination and spectacle frames with lenses on your first pair. The best part? Choose from top brands like Police, Hugo, Under Armour, Tommy Hilfiger, Red Bull Spect and more. Affordable eye care? Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
Who owns this land? I've heard it referred to as private land. I've heard it referred to as municipal land. Have you got some clarity you can share?
We did, in fact, John. It's a kraal, about the size of 2 football fields. It's quite large. We're able to get more information, at least from the municipality, that is council land. Nobody owns that land. And in fact, council had said this is illegal because it is happening on our land. So the resolution that they took, John, the Metro Police descended on that piece of land.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
702 Afternoon Drive with John Perlman is proudly brought to you by Telkom Business. Possible begins here. You're listening to 702 Afternoons
With Relebogile Mabotja,
winner for the best talk show
at the Telkom Radio Awards.
22 minutes after 1 o'clock, and we're talking about who must greet first. Yo, guys, sorry, I'm busy laughing because people on my TikTok live are saying so many things. And Abel was just asking me to say, listen, if I come to your house and Koki is not there, and then I sit in your lounge and Mokokeki comes, Mokokeki must greet Abel. And I then realized I actually fetch my child to greet people. Like I fetch him to be like, oh, Bani is here. But we don't force him. If he doesn't want to, we leave him and we say, hey, he's doing his own thing. He'll warm up and come when he wants to. But yeah, it just got me thinking. So many interesting memories. 011 8830702, the WhatsApp line 072702 and 702. Tabang in Cape Town. How's it?
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm good, thank you. Now, I was saying that because I grew up in Limpopo, right? So when we greet everyone from the street.
Yes.
And at home also. And then when it comes to guests, obviously if the guests come in and then you see all the families inside, then the guests greet all of you. But then if the kids outside playing, when they come inside, you are responsible for greeting the guests. So you can't so you can't expect the guest to greet you because you now found the guest in your home. Same apply with the taxi. When you walk into a taxi, you greet because we regard it as a home also, and there's people inside. So you greet everyone. But then I realized with today's generation, the kids, you must always say to them, hi, how are you? And then that's when they respond to you and then they greet you and then they will say, oh, hi. And then it's like that. But it's a shock that I'm still learning. But greeting is like that. So you greet everyone.
So can I just ask a question, as ke go bitsa Thaka because we tswa Limpopo. Thaka we. So if you go into a room and there's 10 people, do you say dumelang and wave and then move, or do you go greet every individual person?
No, because when you're greeting, it's like it's a way of starting a conversation. So you must acknowledge each and everyone in the home. Because you can say, if you give a and then you can say, dumelang bagolo. If then you say, dumela simang, if you know them. If you don't, then you still say, but it's just a way of breaking the ice, if I can put it that way.
Sesi ubule skolo sa manners, ne? Because open that school yadi manners. Thank you so much, Tabang. We go to Yaleng in Ferndale. Hi.
Hello and greetings to you and greetings to the listeners.
Yes.
This is such an interesting conversation, and I'll tell you why I say it's interesting. So I'm West African and my husband's South African. So every time we have guests come over, I will insist that all the guests come and acknowledge him and greet him. Now, he's a very quiet, withdrawn individual, and he kept asking me, why do you do that? And I said, because culturally, you are the man of the home. This is your home, and it's rooted in respect. It's rooted in the fact that these are your guests, and so they acknowledge you. Oh, also there is an element of patriarchy, but it's a respect thing. And I think for us, as West Africans, because we greet and we have long conversations, and you don't just greet an individual, you greet the household, you greet the children, you engage in, blessings, and it's a very long, prolonged exercise. So when you go elsewhere and greeting is just, it's a hi, it's a hello, it feels very abrupt and very cold,
I've got you. And I think that's interesting what you said is that you take your guests to greet the man of the household because maybe also you've adjusted to the fact that his personality would not outright be like, hi, welcome to our home.
Not at all. And I see this even in the workplace where people, even when meetings are about to start, there isn't that sense of acknowledgement. It's just let's get down to business. Whereas traditionally people engage one another and have a culture of asking, how are the in-laws? How is everyone? And yes, it can be tedious. I must admit, it's a very tedious practice. But I think that's where the humanity lies, because then you're breaking, you are interested in how the other is and not just cold.
I love how you shared that. Thank you so much, Yelang, for that. We go to Tepo from Pretoria. Hi, Tepo.
Hi, my sister.
How's it?
Here's the thing about this guy who wants to be greeted in the bedroom. He's completely out of order.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
Why? Because of the
Can you imagine?
Why is he out of order? Tell me.
No, the thing is this, and this is my understanding. If I come to your house and I find people already in the sitting room, it's my role to greet these people.
Yeah.
And then we obviously finish the greetings. We now get into the whatever discussion, and we sit down. Those that are in the bedrooms that could not come out at the time when I arrived have a responsibility to come and greet me. Especially if the owner of the house, the husband. The husband needs to come and welcome me, because if he doesn't come and is still in the bedroom, I think I'm not welcomed because he's in the house but he's not coming out.
Sure.
So he needs to come. Me because he couldn't come, maybe he was in the shower or do whatever, that's why he couldn't come out immediately. But when he ultimately finishes, it's his responsibility to come out.
So
to greet me, so I'm welcomed. So I feel welcomed in the home.
Yes. So for me, I think I agree with you in the sense that I wouldn't want to be going to people's bedrooms. However, if there's a magogo who is like bedridden or unwell, you must go to the
it's a different-
bedroom.
absolute,
You must
yeah.
say, okay, Koko Mang Mang. They
Yeah,
say she's there, and they
absolute.
will say you can come in, and then you go and greet Magogo. So
Absolute. Oh, the
I
guy.
hear you on that one, because also you don't want to now knock and then the man's naked. You just wanted to say hi.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tepotas Neem in Randburg. Hi.
Hi, I resonate with your previous caller and what you're saying. So religiously, I follow practice of Islam. So in
Yes.
Islam, we have youngers are encouraged to greet their elders, but that doesn't mean that the elders mustn't greet. But in any way, whoever sees first must actually greet that person. That's a principle. And also, when somebody comes to your house, to make them feel welcomed, you generally will go and greet. If it's ladies and the men doesn't feel comfortable, then that's fine, but generally you should come out and greet. Culturally speaking, because there's a difference between religion, practice, and a
Yes.
culture. Culturally speaking, we also encourage to make sure that we greet our guests, elders, young ones, whoever it is. So I think because of this thing, I've just realized as we were having discussing this topic, I kind of part that with my kids as well. So if somebody comes to my house like you, I would tell my kids, right, go and greet the visitors so that they can go and visit. And like you said, if somebody is ill or elderly or whatever it is, then obviously the people in the house can take the cue to see whether that person is I know they're in a state of having a visitor over to see them
Yes.
or whatever. And that's how we take it. But yeah, a good topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Tasneem, and also Tasmeen. I'm giving you big hugs, and I hope that you're feeling much better from the last time we spoke.
Oh, thank you. And I'm giving the same thing to you. I guess, you know what? We'll never forget him. Never, never, never,
We will
never.
never forget David, and we will keep loving him and sharing all of those memories. I see your messages and I see your voice notes as well. And we will continue when we come back. And don't forget what we've got coming up, the Mahindra Fusion Fest quiz. To enter, WhatsApp the keyword Mahindra to 072702 and 702 with your name and ID number. We could call you back to play for up to 10,000 Rand cash and 2 tickets to the fest on 702. T's and C's apply. It's just after 1:30 and time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Apparently the protocol is I must greet you first. Good afternoon.
But you found me here.
No, babes, you found me. You're on my show. You
No,
must greet me.
I started here at 11:30.
Eish, yeah, good point. Okay,
Yeah.
good afternoon, Bale.
Thank you so much. A very good afternoon, Level. Suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya has taken the Malanga Commission of Inquiry through his strained relationship with KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Sibiya says Mkhwanazi has a large social media following with some accounts set up to target and attack him. He took to the stand at the Commission this morning to answer to allegations that he has used his power to shield criminals from accountability as well as prosecution. The lawyers for one of the accused in the murder of an e-hailing driver says his client will plead guilty. Accused number 4 appeared in the Pretoria Magistrates Court this morning along with 2 other additional suspects. They were arrested in connection with the murder of Isaac Satlat, who was hijacked and killed last week. They are facing charges of premeditated murder, kidnapping and robbery with aggravating circumstances. An Action SA leader, Herman Mashaba, says the party was not consulted before Ekurhuleni Mayor Dr. Xhakaza appointed its mayoral candidate Xolani Khumalo to his mayoral committee. Last night, Xhakaza announced changes to his cabinet, naming Khumalo as the MMC for Community Services and Bylaw Enforcement, but Action SA has rejected the appointment, saying it does not want to be associated with what it calls the corrupt ANC-led government in the city. Well, those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage in the Wadeville, Germiston area heading towards Alberton, we still have slow-moving traffic on the N17 westbound between Osborne and Wits Rifles. If you're driving through Melrose heading towards Sandton, also slow-moving traffic M1 northbound between Athol Oakland and Corlett. Otherwise, the rest of 702 land not looking too bad. No serious accidents have been reported. However, look out for those faulty traffic lights in Rand Park Ridge at Bears Nodia and the N1, as well as in Lone Hill at Lone Hill Boulevard and Main Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Just give us a sense of where we are with this foot and mouth disease outbreak. How serious are things at the moment?
It's far greater than what we've ever experienced in the history. I had a look. I think the first outbreak in South Africa was 1904.
What does it actually mean in terms of the affected animals?
The moment that I break on my farm, there's a restriction of movement on my farm. So I can't sell, I can't move my animals. It can be up to 12 months.
What does it mean for consumers?
There's nothing wrong with red meat in South Africa to consume. We have of the best meat in the world.
Johan Kotsep.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Curls in Bloom is more than a hair care brand, it's a movement. It's a celebration of young women standing proudly in their power and talent. Curls in Bloom was created to uplift the next generation of African women who are growing, learning, and blooming. Their scholarship and internship initiative honors the spirit of self-expression, confidence, and community and aims to open doors and nurture dreams. Curls in Bloom exists to water ambition, to light the path forward, and to celebrate the beauty of becoming.
Every day I'm hustling. It's our reality as business owners. And it's good to know that there's someone out there who takes care of the business that makes the business. Gotta love My Way Business Insurance. Saving big on premiums with 24/7 emergency services, plus My Business Assist with marketing, legal, and labor advice services.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Herschel Gibbs here with more than just a crypto ad. Crypto payments are now live on 10Bet. And there's more. Download the app, deposit, and get an extra 5% in cash. The future of betting, faster, safer, and smoother. Play now at 10bet.co.za. 10Bet is a licensed betting operator and supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 shall be permitted to bet. Betting can be addictive. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
WhatsApp Relebogile on 072 702 1702.
24 minutes to 2 o'clock, and we've been talking about the etiquette in your home, maybe even your culture, your religion, that you are accustomed to when it comes to greeting. So if you go to someone's home, after at reinventing.tasia on TikTok was sharing her story that her sister and her sister cut her off after she didn't greet the husband when she went to visit the sister and at her home. Now, for context, the husband was in the room, but the wife felt like, no, you did not speak to my husband, and we both found it very disrespectful. So I'm asking, whose responsibility is it for you to greet when you walk into somebody's house? Is it the visitor, the one who's arriving, or is it the host? And so far, we've had a few where it's like, my husband, I fetch you visitors to come because this is the man of the home, right? So you must come and husband, and you guys will greet. We've had others who say no. The person who walked into the room and found you sitting, they're the ones that must greet. Whether that is the host, as in maybe you're in the bedroom when visitors arrived, now you come to the lounge, people are sitting, you must go and greet. And if it is the visitor that is arriving to find people seated, they are the person that should be greeting. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line, 072 702 1702. I'm going to read some of the messages that have been coming through. And one reads as follows. No, the person opening the door must say hello, come in. The person in the other room comes to the front door as well to greet. This is from Joni Badenhorst, who says that basically the host, you guys must go and greet at the door and welcome people in the house. Another one says, really now they want to argue about who greets first. What does it matter? It sounds just like my family. CD says, Relebogile, isn't it whoever enters the space last must greet first? Wouldn't that make things simpler? Well, Sidi, that's definitely what many have been saying. Another one says, in terms of the sister at her sister's house, when her sister's husband is in the bedroom, she was supposed to ask the host sister to please pass greetings to the husband. It is their space. You need to humble yourself, says Mr. Al. Look, we also don't know the nature of the relationship. That if you guys are super close and when you're at your sister's home, it's also like your home. I don't think it should be taken that personally, but I hear what you're saying to be like, hey, greet Mutwaga, greet my person, Abel. Let me head out. So I get where you come from. I agree with the caller. When you find people in their space, you're supposed to greet them. I was a teacher and I would also greet learners if I find them in their space, whether in class or on the field. I love that that approach does not have a hierarchy in terms of, young people must greet elders first. Says, afternoon, Lebon team. In my home country, I am the one that has to greet a visitor, not visitors coming to greet me, is what they say. I can tell you, my brothers went to Pretoria Boys High, which is quite a traditional school. And it was not a matter of if we were arriving at the school. They were taught that every person, they have to stand up and greet them. So even though we are arriving to the boys' space, and it didn't matter that I was younger than some of them, they could have been matriculants, but they would stand up and say, good afternoon, ma'am. So I guess it's different for everybody. Hear your voice notes on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Relebu, Ketani here in Midrand. I will greet you. And the rule is, if you find people somewhere, you greet them. If you find people, you greet them. And if I greet you and you say nothing, I call you and say, hey, I am greeting you. And I've seen it now that there's an uptake of, digital nomads. They don't greet. I greet them and I tell them this is the South African way. You greet.
Close their laptops, babes.
Hi, Lebu and 702. I think as human beings, we must just teach ourselves to greet. Let's normalize greeting to an extent that you don't even have to think, oh, did I greet or I got greeted? Because it needs to be a second nature. Greet until you don't even think about it, whether you are the one who get into someone's space or they come to you. Just normalize greeting until it's second nature. And that way, your greeting will be pleasant. You greet some people that you can even tell that the greeting is not real. And even if you greet them, the response, they are not there. So I think let's normalize greeting until it's second nature and it becomes pleasant.
Hello, I'm listening to you now about who must greet. In my culture, I don't know if it's my culture or in my house, whoever walks in the door must come and greet me. You don't just walk into my house and make yourself comfortable. You come and greet me first. Whether I'm older or younger or whatever, you come greet whoever is first in the house. Okay, good show. Bye.
Thank you so much. But what if you're in the toilet? Guys, there are so many other dynamics. Must we come knock there, go toilet, say, hello?
Oh, hi, Betunana. No. That sister was wrong. I'm sure the husband knew that the sister was coming and he just decided to sit in his room and not come downstairs and say hi to the sister-in-law. So actually, the husband in this case is wrong. He should have come downstairs to say hi. Yeah, no ways. Mm-mm.
Good afternoon, Relebogile. Theo here from Eduduza. Relebogile, the previous caller. On the call, the one that is picking up, you come into my space. The one that is picking up is the one that is the first to say hello. The caller usually is not the first person to say hello. But the receiver of the caller is the one that when they pick up, they say hello. So it doesn't work on the call. It's not the same principle on the call. Thank you so much. Enjoy your afternoon.
I love your guys' responses and feedback. So interesting. I think we've got one more.
Hey, Relebogile Mabotja. We were all taught manners, and it's just general manners to greet people that you find. When it comes to people in the house, my teenage children hide in their rooms until people leave because they know they need to come out and greet. If they come out, they must greet and not the other way around. So people must just have maiteo. You get to a till, wadumedisa, how are you, ma'am? You don't even have to say how are you, hello. That's all it takes. It doesn't take anything from you. But that's something that we are lacking as a society generally. Anyway, Bitumelo from Pretoria. Thank you.
Fashion, art, and music will take center stage. And so can you by playing the Mahindra Fusion Fest quiz on 702.
It's about that time. The Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026 goes down on Saturday, the 7th of March at Sunbet Arena, and it's going to be a cultural revolution, fusing unique expressions of music, fashion, and art into one-off performances for one night only. Muesli is hosting again with live performances by Daliwonga, Focalistic, Kurt Darren, Claire Johnston, and Mango Groove, Zingumalo, the Tonic Gospel Choir, and more. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster. Complete a test drive at your nearest Mahindra showroom and stand a chance to win the Mahindra XUV 3XO. T's and C's apply. So somebody did do the right thing, sent their name, their ID number, and they're on the line. Sydney Mulifi from the Val. How are you?
Afternoon, how are you?
Good. So you know the rules. First off, you need to choose a category between art, fashion, and music. What are you choosing?
Art.
You're choosing art. That was going to be an interesting one, Sydney. Now, don't forget, you've got 30 seconds to answer 5 questions based on their chosen category. Each question answered correctly earns you 2,000 Rand, meaning you can win yourself 10,000 Rand in cash. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's start the clock. True or false, painting is visual art?
True.
What do artists paint on?
Hello?
What do artists paint on?
Yellow.
What do you call art made with a camera?
Producer.
Name one primary color.
Red.
True or false, Mahindra Fusion Fest includes live art experiences?
True.
I'm looking at the judges. How is it looking, judges? Okay, the judges and I are not in agreement. So, okay, we have concluded. Chief, can I just help you, ne? Artists paint on canvas. It can be canvas, whatever. It can be paper. It can be cardboard, ne? And then the art made with a camera is photography. But Shem, I felt for you and you said producer because I said Ampurda. But you know what? You've won yourself 6,000 Rand in cash. Sydney, congratulations. And you also get yourself 2 tickets to go to the Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026. Sydney, who are you taking with to the concerts?
Unfortunately, now I'm busy. I'm making up and cooking for the students.
Is it? No, but we need to make a plan for you to be there to have that experience. Thank you so much for playing. That is the Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026, powered by 702. Catch us again tomorrow for another chance to play.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Acting Police Minister Firoz Kachalia says the police and the defense force are almost done finalizing their deployment plan, which will begin in the next 10 days. The plan will now include the Eastern Cape, which is also grappling with an organized crime and drug problem. Sports, Arts and Culture Minister and Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie welcomed the move, saying crime is high in the province.
Mr. President, we would like you to add the Eastern Cape because there are more people die in the Eastern Cape than anywhere else.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Whether you love watching great films or dream of making them, the Joburg Film Festival, in partnership with MultiChoice Group, a Canal Plus company, from the 3rd to the 8th of March has something for you. Experience powerful local and international cinema on the big screen and tap into the JBX Talks, where the people shaping film unpack the craft, the business, and the future of storytelling. It's more than a festival, it's a front row seat to the film world. Book your tickets now at joburgfilmfestival.co.za.
When you train for results, you don't quit halfway. Earn up to 7.35% interest with a Nedbank Just Invest account. Access your money within 24 hours. Keep your money agile. Get money fit with Nedbank. See money differently. Nedbank. For more information, visit nedbank.co.za. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
This is financial year end. This is financial year end supercharged with the help of Zero Small Business Accounting Software. Try Zero free for 30 days. Terms apply. Search Zero with an X.
702 Finance Feature.
11 minutes to 2 o'clock, and in our finance feature for today, we're chatting to Dinus Rautenbach, who is a business head at Clarity, around South Africans exploring digital investing. And we have to be so careful. 011 8830702, the WhatsApp line 072702 and 702. Dinus, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Relebogile, and thanks for having me.
Dinus, didn't they tell you, apparently you're supposed to greet me first?
I wasn't sure whether I was in the room first or whether I'm coming into your room, but good afternoon.
Thank you so much for coming through. So, Dinus, I mean, a lot of people get nervous at this idea of any kind of digital investing, and maybe we can start with the definition, but already the fact that, you know, if you know your money's in the bank, you know where to go if it just disappears. You can physically walk somewhere and say, give me my money. But if it's something that just randomly disappears online, there's nerves around that. Share with us, what are we referring to when we say digital investing?
I think first place to start is that a lot of our world is now digital, and a lot of how we engage with our money and our investing is digital. You know, you've got your smartphone and what you do on your smartphone and how you're able to view your bank account for a lot of people and how you engage with some of your investments. It is becoming digital. And so when we're talking about self-service or self-directed digital investing, you are able to then look at your investments, whether it's all the way from a simple transactional account, savings account, all the way through to buying shares or then unit trust or other investments, but that you're able to do that yourself in a digital way, that you don't necessarily have to go to a branch or to a physical, office to be able to do that. Now, as digital improves and as more people have access to smartphones, it is possible for you to help yourself and direct how you invest. And that's really what we are talking about. 100% you need to be conscious of it being safe and secure and that you can trust it. And that's why we believe you should engage with a trusted brand and with a trusted service provider so that you know that your money is safe.
So let's talk, before we talk about the fear part, let's talk about the pros and the conveniences that come with, this kind of investing online where it's easy and to do it for yourself. What are the other pros of doing it that way?
I think as you engage more with how you think about your investments and what's important to you, both from a risk, so how long do you want, how easy do you want access to your money, and how comfortable with the volatility of money, so how your investments go up and down in value. As you become more and more comfortable with it, you've got a wider and wider range of investments that you can engage with. And so you don't only have to invest in necessarily South African assets, you can invest in overseas assets, you can invest in brands that you like and follow, like Samsung or Apple or McDonald's, and all of those kind of investments that is now available to you, even if you want to invest offshore. So, what's the advantages? Yes, you can do it yourself, but two, you've got access to a wide range of investments.
So now if we are to talk about the risks, where, there are so many things happening digitally, it can be quite difficult to differentiate between what's safe and what's not. What are the cons?
I think you have to start, whenever you think about a digital safety, if someone sells something to you or proposes an investment to you and it just sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So let's start there, and especially in the digital world, you see a lot of ads or on digital social media like TikTok and other places. You get a whole lot of ads, etc., that shows you these investments that looks like you can retire tomorrow. So the first thing is, just when it looks too good to be true, it probably is. And then, as I say, engage with brands that you trust and start slowly. Start by having a small investment in things that you understand and it's maybe fairly low risk. And as you become more comfortable with how you do this investment yourself, you can increase your risk and increase the type of instruments that you then invest in.
What are some of the very easy to identify red flags when it comes to investing digitally? And then can you share with us some of the platforms that you get access to lots of opportunities that are legit and safe?
So I think almost like you invited me into your room and
you didn't greet first.
You were talking too fast, so I couldn't. But I think that's a good principle. A good principle is where you are introduced to either an investment or investment platform by someone that you trust, not by someone that just knocks on your door and you don't know from a bar of soap. So let's start there. If you start with a trusted friend, family member, etc., that introduce you to a platform or a specific investment, that starts you off at a different place than where you just take the advice from either a cold call from somewhere, via social media, direct on phone, or where you just follow a social media post, etc. So I want to say that that's a good way of introducing you to a new investment or investment platform. And then, as we run Clarity by Investec. It's a platform where you can do your own investments, where you can sign up. You don't need to be an Investec client. You can sign up, and you can then start small. We have got fractional exposure on the platform, so you can start with as little as 100 Rand into a small investment, and that can give you access to both local and offshore ETFs, which is a type of a fund-like exposure. So it's not only into one stock, or you can go and buy some of the stocks that you are maybe familiar with. So yes, trusted brand, easy, as well as the second thing to think about is as your friends, family, trusted people in your life can advise you or introduce you to a platform, that would be the way to go.
Can you maybe give us a guidance as to any kind of platform that actually can help all of us as individuals get to understand how these trading things work? Because it's easy for you to say, okay, I'm going to put away 250 Rand a month on this platform, and then I'm going to randomly select and then wait to see the numbers go up and down. Whereas there is a bit of a skill of what to look out for. So should a person be looking at the news to sort of assess what's happening in certain industries? Should they be studying previous performance? What should they be doing for them to start to get familiar with investing digitally?
So I think it's a good place to start. As I started, I said, you want to start with your 250 Rand and start as conservative as possible. And maybe that means you just put it into a savings product, a straightforward bank savings product where you know that 250 Rand is worth 250 Rand with a little bit of interest every month. And you build up a certain amount of rainy day fund or emergency fund. Once you've done that, you go a step up and you now say, okay, I want to invest. And now what do I invest in? Okay, let me invest in something that's fairly diversified, both maybe not only over industries, but over geography. So you look at some kind of an ETF potentially. In South Africa, the SATRIX 40 or the top 40 tracking type indices. Overseas, the S&P 500, the Eurostoxx 50. There are many type of ETFs that track these indices that gives you wide diversification, which means lower volatility in that investment. And then ultimately, last is where you get more specific and you want to take a view on a specific stock. Now, where are some of these places to learn? I want to say there are many websites that you can learn on. I want to point at something like Investopedia. That's a website, public website where you can get information on how to invest, and the differentiation between low risk type of assets and higher risk type of assets. But I'm going to say something maybe a bit controversial, but you can engage with your best AI friend, whoever that is, and start asking your AI friend, not specifically what do I have to buy, what do I have to sell, but to help you learn about investing and to really engage with AI potentially on learning about investing, not necessarily asking AI, okay, should I buy Coca-Cola today, but maybe asking, okay, so what type of investment should I be considering? What is lower risk? What is higher risk? And if I have these type of stocks, what should be the next thing that could give me diversification? That type of engagement, actually the new AI tools is wonderful to help you learn.
Dinas, thank you so much for your time on 702 Afternoons Finance feature. And the next hour of the show, we have a masterclass. We're chatting Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026. It's all about art. It's 2:00.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Zamini. Annual headline inflation slowed to 3.5% in January from 3.6% at the end of last year. The print is marginally higher than market expectations. Stats SA released the latest price figures today. The dip in inflation puts the reading back at November 2025 levels. Chief Director for Price Statistics at Stats SA, Patrick Kelly, says the downward pressure is thanks to a sharp decline in fuel prices, while food inflation was steady for the third consecutive month.
The monthly change in the CPI was 0.2%, the same as December's reading.
In the food category, Kelly says cereal products slowed significantly.
White rice recorded a drop of 11%, representing an 11th consecutive month of deflation. Maize meal inflation declined notably from 9.5% in December to 2.6% in January. Inflation for oils and fats softened to 4% from 4.6% in December.
Suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya remains adamant that the instruction to carry out the disbandment of the Political Killings Task Team was given by his boss, Fani Masemola. Sibiya has been testifying at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria today. He provided the Commission with his version of events regarding the disbandment of the PKTT. Sibiya claims Masemola's stance that he was surprised by the PKTT disbandment letter issued by Police Minister Senzo Mchunu in December 2024 is unbelievable. Oren Singh reports.
Shadrack Sibiya claims National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola knew about the possible disbandment of the PKTT as he was privy to talks about absorbing the task team into the murder and robbery unit. Sibiya claims he signed off on a close-up report of the PKTT but was ultimately under instruction from Masemola to do so.
I emphasize that any role that I played in the disbandment of the PKTT was undertaken solely in the course and scope of instructions issued to me by the National Commissioner.
He says had he not acted on the instruction, he could have been charged for insubordination.
The alternative would have been to defy a direct order from my superior, which would itself have constituted unlawful conduct and a disciplinary offence.
The PKTT remain active in conducting their investigations. Aryan Singh, Eyewitness News.
The lawyer for one of the accused in the murder of an e-hailing driver says his client will plead guilty. Accused number 4, Relebogile Mabotja, appeared in the Pretoria Magistrates Court today, along with 2 other additional suspects. They were arrested in connection with the murder of Isaac Satlat, who was hijacked and killed last week. They are facing charges of premeditated murder, kidnapping and robbery with aggravating circumstances. Dimakatso Lishoro reports.
It's alleged accused 4, 5 and 6 also took part in the murder of e-hailing driver Isaac David Satlet on Wednesday last week. The additional suspects bring the total number of accused in this case to 6. They are expected to appear alongside the initial 3 accused on the 23rd of February. Lawyer representing accused number 4 and 5, Kaiser Mphahlele, confirmed that accused number 4 will not be applying for bail and intends to plead guilty to the charges against him. He says the state's case is strong and that there's no point in wasting the court's time. It remains unclear whether accused number 5 will also plead guilty. Accused number 6, on the other hand, is not facing a charge of premeditated murder but is charged with robbery with aggravating circumstances. Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News, Pretoria Magistrates Court.
Self-confessed child killer Amberly Hughes maintains that she intended to plead guilty to murder from the start of the case. The 26-year-old convicted of the rape and murder of 4-year-old Nada Jane Chalita is submitting evidence before the High Court today as part of her sentencing proceedings. For over 2 years now, Hughes pleaded not guilty to all counts but made a shocking turnaround last year, confessing to how she killed the child. It's been 3 years since Chalita was raped and drowned in a Glenvista apartment in 2023. In today's proceedings, Hughes told the court that her previous defense team advised her against pleading guilty.
She informed me that I would have to plead on all 3 charges. That stage it was 3 charges of rape, sexual assault and murder. And I would have to plead on all 3 or I wasn't allowed to plead on just murder. Michelle also felt that my case was strong enough.
And Gabon has shut down social media platforms such as Facebook and TikTok, and they are inaccessible at this time over what the government says are security threats and harmful online content. The move follows concerns over the circulation of false information and other digital activities deemed detrimental to social cohesion and security of state institutions. The High Authority for Communication says the harmful content is undermining human dignity, public morality, and the honor of citizens. Gold is trading at $4,921.48 an ounce. The rand is at 15.98 to the dollar, 21.69 to the pound, 18.92 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $67.42 a barrel.
In Germiston, heading towards Alberton, slow-moving traffic N17 westbound from Osborne to Wits Rifles, while in Melrose, travelling towards Sandton. Roadwork still causing delays on the M1 northbound between Ethel Oaklands and Corlett Avenue.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 27 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: annual headline inflation slowed to 3.5% in January from 3.6% at the end of last year.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
minutes after 2 o'clock, the second and final hour of 7:02 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. And we're going to be joining, getting into a masterclass in this hour of the show. And I have to say, being a creative, I'm so biased in this regard. The way I'm enjoying these masterclasses with Mahindra Fusion Fest for 2026. Today, it's going to be pretty much around art, different kinds of art. So make sure you stay tuned. Get in touch with us, 011-883-0702 and SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702
Masterclass.
Masterclass time on 702 Afternoons. The Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026, as we know, fuses art, fashion, and music in one unforgettable day, which is why we've been giving away up to 10,000 Rand every day under the categories of art, fashion, and music. You see what we did there? Yes, it was not by mistake. Eh? So today on the Masterclass, we're going to be exploring the art aspect of the fest by talking to award-winning illustrator, motion designer, and performing artist. They say multi-talented at the Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026. Ndumi Sonyoni on 702. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Relebogile, and thank you to your listeners.
Just come right up, get intimate with the mic.
Okay, I'm right up in there.
Listen, listen, don't be afraid. She's gentle.
Okay.
You see, she's kind.
I got my radio voice on now. I'm ready.
I absolutely love that. Thank you so much for coming through and chatting to us. I'm always truly fascinated, especially when it comes to artists of our generation, artists of color of our generation, where if you grew up in a home where your parents themselves were not artists, you were often deterred unless there was somebody very close to one of your parents that could sort of guide. But maybe chat to us about what that was like for you as a kid, realizing you are a creative. Is it something that was nurtured? Is it, or were you those people who were like, I rebelled doing fourth year medicine?
Cool. Yeah, fair point. I think that's an interesting truth that's true for kids throughout Africa. So myself was born in Zim, studied here in South Africa, but that truth holds very true. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure my dad's going to listen to this, but he wasn't. As
he should. Dad, listen. Listen, Dad. After you're proud of him for this interview, you must say, I'm sorry.
Yeah, good luck getting Ndebele man to say sorry.
So what happened then?
Yeah, I mean, so I come from a family of teachers, lecturers, pharmacists. Unfortunately, before me, my brother was an artist. So as kids, we grew up drawing. Would watch cartoons and, would go do our thing. But we never saw it as a way to earn a living. It was never seen as that. It was just, do you see those artists who are selling paintings under trees? If you follow
Side of the road vibes. Cap out for coins.
Exactly. So that's how art was seen. So yeah, it wasn't really, let's just say people weren't doing backflips when I said, hey, I want to go study multimedia.
Sorry, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Especially because I can imagine, did they even know what multimedia was when you shared that?
You know what? To be perfectly honest and to be, completely honest, I didn't even fully know myself what multimedia was. I knew I could draw. I knew I enjoyed it. I knew I enjoyed comics and cartoons, but I wasn't able to connect the dots to say, well, this is how you earn a living out of it. This is how you study it. And I think that's where my brother really, paved the way for me, because he's 3 years my senior. He kind of ran the gauntlet of, hey, you want to be an artist? He went and did graphic design, and he's the one who actually told me, hey, UJ is offering this, this is, what you want to do. So, yeah.
Thank God for all the brothers, right? That will be the influence and the guinea pig
Guinea pig for sure.
That makes it easier for the second born to go through.
Exactly.
So what was your understanding, and that's why these conversations are so important, of what studying multimedia is, because we look now at your skill set. You could even branch into gaming. There's so many things that are available to you in terms of what you can explore with the skills that you have.
Yeah, I mean, so initially I thought of doing graphic design because at that point in time, the two were kind of separate. This was before the world was fully digital and graphic design was more hands-on, so tactile, printmaking, that sort of thing. But because of my love for animation, my brother was like, no, follow this route and see what happens. So initially I went in.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about a typical elder black parent being like, oh my God, Popeye. Like, that's literally what it was. Popeye, if you say that. But the beauty is knowing the industry.
Exactly.
You can see what an amazing space it is. But, yo guys, I'm going to troll my child one of these days just for fun. So you were saying, knowing what you know now, what skill set does studying multimedia give you?
No, it opens up so much. So, I mean, when I actually went in, I actually majored in web design. So that's one completely different, discipline you can go under, because that was all the rage. It felt a bit better to understand, to fathom, web design, because you could see websites. But then I got in, I was exposed to video editing, I was exposed to animation, motion graphics. But then I was also exposed to illustration in itself, in its raw form, so character design, a bit of fine art as well. So it basically opens up that entire visual arts spectrum, whether it's print or screen, to you.
So I want, after the break, when we come back, I want you to explain in very layman's terms what we're referring to when we say graphic design.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when you're within the industry, it's very easy to forget. So you're gonna have an ad break to think about the examples, right? To differentiate, so that also when you say character design, and the reason I think this is so important, there are parents who are listening whose kids maybe have mentioned it, and this is gonna help them grasp and have a great appreciation. But also because the work looks fun, it's easy to think it's easy. It still is many, many hours and lots of hard work. So we continue with the masterclass when we come back.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
We were supposed to host the MEC for transport. They've written to us to say, no, we've spoken many times to 702. We don't feel like we need to come and speak to you guys. You might have spoken to another presenter at another show. When you agree and you say, yes, I'm going to come, then mid-air you decide, no, you're not going to come because you have already spoken to 702. And were the people that are listening now, listening then? Come on. And then the very same government people will be the first to say, yeah, but you don't give us platform.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Growing a business is a 24/7 job. In fact, 55% of small business owners say they can never switch off. Usually it's personal moments like missed date nights and long overdue holidays that pay the price. Xero wants to help you claim one back with an emotional tax return. To enter, share a moment you missed while growing your business on Instagram stories and tag @Xero, that's XERO, spelled with an X. Competition ends 22nd of March. T's and C's apply.
Psst. Hey, no longer feeling like the man you used to be?
The man who has inside jokes with complete strangers.
The fact is, 95% of men with low testosterone go untreated.
Vitamin High Performance Supplements for men helps recharge energy, regain lean muscle, and reload performance. Available at all good pharmacies and Vitalamin.co.za.
Vitalamin. Don't get older. Get better.
She loves me not.
Hey,
she
Tibbs, what are you doing?
Matt, I'm trying to decide between flowers or chocolates for Valentine's Day.
Nah, forget that, bud. Get her something she'll really love.
Like what?
Well, Barron's are having amazing deals on Vivos, Polos, and T-Crosses.
She does need a new car.
Exactly. Barron's have deals on Vivos for $2,990 per month, Polos for $3,990, and T-Crosses from only $4,990.
Get deals you'll love this month at Barron's Woodmead and Bruma today. Barron's, the Volkswagen people.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra presents its summer season concerts, featuring celebrated conductors and soloists. Thursday evenings from 26th February to 19th March at the Linda Auditorium. These concerts are not to be missed. Tickets available at Quicket.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Many other indications that our economy is at last moving. Do these numbers show there is some progress in actually creating jobs?
We saw, I think, what was quite embarrassing, Stephen, the drop in the trade numbers in terms of employment outcomes. And it was because of the cleanup ahead of G20. And it's coming out in the numbers here. And so informal trade already then becomes dogged in the way in which we recognize its contribution to economic outcomes in the country.
Safisa Skinjana is the economist.
The Money Show.
On 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show, Stephen Curtis, is brought to you by ABSA CIB. Invested in your story because your story matters. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
Masterclass.
It is 19 minutes after 2 o'clock at our Masterclass for today with Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026. We're chatting to Ndumiso Nyoni, who is a multi-talented, award-winning illustrator, motion designer, as well as a performing artist at the show. But before we went to the break, he was already sharing with us the multi-skills. Now, I've given him the homework. He had like 3 minutes to prepare, actually explaining what each of the skill sets and titles entail, not just for the young people listening, also for the parents that must support their young people's dreams, also for us to have a greater appreciation for what goes into these skills. And I think it's so important because there's so many spaces that we experience the skill set without necessarily even thinking about it. Please do not be fooled by the fact that you can get ChatGPT to make a poster for you. 011 8830702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 on 702. All right, your first, let's start with illustrator.
Yes.
What does being an illustrator mean?
Okay, for 20 marks.
Yes.
So being an illustrator, I think it kind of stems from being an artist. So in its purest form, it's taking a pencil and making marks on a piece of paper, first of all, right? That's, the basic. How you start to get paid for it is making meaningful marks, so basically starting to communicate brand messages. So brands will hire you to communicate some sort of message, that speaks to a campaign that they're doing. And it's up to you to basically try and capture what it is they're trying to communicate with your pencil and paper, with your Wacom tablet, with your iPad, with your computer, with your mouse. So, as we've moved into the digital age, we're obviously not restricted to pencil and paper or paintbrushes and paper.
Do you remember the app, the program called Paint on Windows?
I do, very much.
We all spend so much time on Paint.
We all spend time there. So, as an illustrator, you kind of work across the spectrum. You could work in a graphic design setting where you're designing logos.
Yes.
So logos is something that we interact with every single day. Someone has sat down, thought about it, tried to imbue, what sort of brand message am I trying to communicate? How do I want this brand to show up? Should it show up, credible, professional, or is it hip and funky,
Who's the target audience?
Exactly.
What do the colors communicate?
Yeah.
So if yellow says brighten whatever, black says this, what will it look like in black and white?
Exactly. Green says corporate, all those things. So, when we study things like color psychology, so how does combining certain colors together communicate a certain thing?
You are so educated. I love it. I love it because I think we take for granted when we see certain logos, but if we do pay attention, for example, fast food will, gravitate towards reds because
100%.
of what reds will communicate and things like that.
Absolutely. It stands out. How do you cut through the clutter? So these are all, there's a lot of internal dialogue that goes on as an illustrator. You're constantly asking yourself these questions. And it's this constant, back and forth, how do I communicate this? Does this work? Because, you're the artist, but at the same time, you're trying to be the audience. So how will this be received? Is this controversial? Will this offend people? Will this be well received? So it's this constant communication loop, between, you and yourself that then ends up on this piece of paper.
And also getting to understand what a client wants, because that's always the hard thing.
Oh,
it's
clients.
like, I just want this amazing logo and they'll say something really abstract.
Yes.
And then the difficult part is that's not it. And of course, you'll be like, okay, what would you like?
Yes.
They don't know till they see it.
100%. Yeah, and that's the thing with an artist. Like, a lot of the time, it's uncharted territory. You're basically coming up with something that might make pure sense in your head. You can see it, perfectly, but no one else can. So it's up to you to basically translate that image that you have in your mind onto that piece of paper and still please the client.
So if we move away from the logo and all of the monetizable things, because being in the creative industry is a constant balance of, yes, I've got bills to pay. Yes. So there's jobs that are responding to briefs. Yes. It's not about, I like this. It's about, what does the client want, even if it goes against everything you've learned and understood.
Yes.
What is the fun part of it? Is it like if somebody came to you and was like, I want to do a fun a book for adults having ADHD, where it's not too many words, but I want illustrations. So I don't want illustrations that are for kids. I want illustrations for adults that they can get lost in.
100%. So, I like that you've touched on books, because that's something we're talking about in the ad break. So that's definitely, where the passion lies for me. I'm super passionate about kids literacy. I haven't really ventured into grown-up books, but I've done quite a few kids books.
Yes.
A lot of them I'm actually done for free, out of charity.
Because there is no money in the literary world, and children's books are very expensive to produce. Yeah,
absolutely. But it's also so important. And I remember signing up with Book Dash. So that's, the organization that runs these. They run these marathons where they invite an illustrator, a designer to do the layouts, a writer and an editor, and you're put into groups, of 4. So I think it's 10 teams. And you each have to come up on the day with an entire children's book.
Wow.
Illustrated, full color, story written. You've got 12 hours to do it.
It almost reminds me of the 48-hour film project, where you have 48 hours to script. And I just love those things, because not everything is about money.
Exactly.
It's something that is challenging, the collaboration that's fulfilling.
Absolutely.
I want to pause on the explanation of your titles to take a call, but we are going to go back to the motion design aspects and your other skills. We have Kuzo from Krugersdorp. Hi, Kuzo.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi. I'm all right, and yourself?
Good. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say to Ndumiso that I'm really proud of him. I think he already knows. I said Krugersdorp to throw him off. But I just wanted to say that I'm really proud of all the work he's done, that, I've had the pleasure to be mentored by him, and he does great work, and he should know how important his work really is.
Oh, Kuzo, that is so kind of you. What would you like to say in Ndumiso to Kuzo? Because it is important to have that support from home.
No, absolutely. Kucho, thank you so much. Kucho is we've come far. So I mentored Kucho, found her at Vega during an open day.
Wow.
Got her first job. And I've played that big brother role to her. And I've just always told her, believe in yourself. Look at what I'm doing, and see, what doors open up for me, they can also open up for you. So,
Kujo, what do you do in the industry?
Thank you. I'm also a graphic designer, and Ndu is a real inspiration.
Listen, we need more graphic designers that are women, that are female,
absolutely,
that are of color. So keep at it. I know it's the grind is tough. The turnarounds are always brutal, because and I'm probably one of those clients no, tomorrow, when it's a 7-day thing. But thank you so much, Okujo, for calling in. How does that make you feel, just having your people still really behind you?
Yeah, I mean, it's still one of those I have to pinch myself, to be honest, because I'm still new at the end of the day, and it's wild that I get to do what I enjoy and I get paid for it. But then I'm also able to inspire others while doing it. Because to be honest, I don't see it as a job. I don't see it as work. People reach out and say, "Hey, I've seen your work. Can you mentor me?" And it's conversations like you and I are having. And it's only later on, 3-5 years down the line, I'm like, oh, that's that kid I spoke to,
Yes.
and oh, wow, that's what they're doing. Or they're a lecturer now and, they're mentoring someone else. So it's humbling. But at the same time, it's also empowering. It's like, yeah, we're moving the revolution forward.
If we are to chat about graphic design,
yes,
what does that mean? And do you group your graphic designer and motion designer together?
Yeah, so I'll group them together, then I'll just, talk about the difference. So
Yes.
graphic design, when we talk about it in the industry, we would normally say traditional media. So think your newspapers, your magazines, your business cards, so like your corporate stationery, billboards, posters, that sort of thing. It's basically any sort of visual that you can put together, whether it's using Illustrator, which is a piece of software, Photoshop, which I'm sure you've heard about, that's been around for years. And it's, again, just basically putting together some sort of image and that's the key thing, it has to communicate something. From a money sort of perspective, it needs to communicate a brand message. And then from an art perspective, it has to communicate some sort of personal message. So that's graphic design in its purest form. It's basically mark making with the purpose of creating or, putting out a message out there.
Now, when of course it becomes motion, that is a whole nother level.
Absolutely. So now that's taking those still images and now adding motion to them. So actually adding movement. A perfect example would be the cartoons that you watch.
Yes.
That's a perfect example of motion graphics. Perfect example also could be on the news. When it starts up and you've got the globe doing its thing.
Yes.
That's motion graphics. So it finds its way into everything. For the longest, I've worked in advertising. And that's where I cut my teeth. So I worked on a lot of TV ads. So a lot of TV ads are motion, graphics. Whether it's a live action, and by live action, I mean when you take a camera and you film people, that also has some motion graphics.
You can literally turn on the news when you see a person's name on a strap. That is motion graphics. It comes in and out.
100%.
And interesting fact is for everybody to know, the motion graphics at one time was an Illustrator moving frame by frame. So if you see some of the early Disney films where Mickey Mouse is drawn and then you go to the next page, draw him doing the next movement, then they flip the pages for the motion. What would you have done without the digital era? We continue the conversation when we come back. It's just after 2:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. I've already greeted you.
You have. Madumo Hafeli, though. So, good afternoon,
Relebogile.
Suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya remains adamant that the instruction to carry out the disbandment of the political killings task team was given by his boss, Fani Masemola. Sibiya has been testifying at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria today. He provided the commission with his version of events regarding the disbandment of the PKTT. Annual headline inflation slowed to 3.5% in January from 3.6% at the end of last year. The print is marginally higher than market expectations. Stats SA released the latest price figures earlier today. While in Greece, taxi drivers have kicked off a nationwide strike against new rules which they say favour private vehicles for hire. The strike is expected to last 2 days, with drivers saying they are fighting to protect their right to have access to a public source mode of transport and not private cartels. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Here's another one who never greets. Every day you're in my house, you find me here. You just tell us, hey, Colette, M1, N1. Marawena. I'm not done.
Okay. In the traffic at the moment. Well, at this stage, there's still slow-moving traffic in Germiston on the N17 westbound from Osborne to Wits Rifles. There's also bumper-to-bumper traffic in Melrose on the M1 northbound from Ethel Oaklands to Corlett Drive. This is due to ongoing roadworks. Traffic lights still not working in Hyde Park, Edian Smuts and Republic. There's also traffic lights not working at Rand Park Ridge, at Bears Nodia in the N1, as well as in Edenville at Modderfontein Road and Laurie. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
This is a message from Johannesburg Water. Johannesburg Water understands the frustration and inconvenience some residents are experiencing due to the current water interruptions in some parts of the city. Their technical teams are working around the clock to stabilize supply by repairing major leaks, managing system pressure, and coordinating closely with the bulk supplier. Focused interventions are underway on critical systems and areas to support system recovery and restore supply. Alternative water supply continues being provided in affected areas. Johannesburg Water, a water utility that cares.
Listen up, corporates. Wrap up your tax year on a meaningful note by donating to DKMS. Your support assists in fighting life-threatening blood cancers by enabling DKMS to recruit more potential donors, as well as raising patients' chances of finding a match. And there's an added advantage. Enjoy the benefits of a Section 18A tax certificate, which grants your company a well-deserved rebate. Be a force for good this tax season by giving those in need a new lease on life. Email fundraising at dkms-africa.org. to donate today.
The pain of losing a loved one is never easy. It will leave you feeling overwhelmed. At Clientele, we understand that burying loved ones with dignity truly matters. Our funeral plans pay out cash within just 24 hours, and you receive 200 Rand airtime when you claim to make those important calls. Plus, we cover up to 13 people on one plan. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
This is financial year end. This is financial year end supercharged with the help of Zero Small Business Accounting Software. Try Zero free for 30 days. Terms apply. Search Zero with an X.
If you run a business, your vehicles aren't just vehicles. They're capital investments on four wheels, and capital should perform. On Friday, the 20th of February, 702 will take you inside Pro One, an exclusive Stellantis showcase spotlighting the Peugeot professional pickup range engineered for South African businesses, from construction to agriculture to logistics. If your fleet is due for an upgrade and you mean business, tune in on Friday for live insights from the floor. Power your business with the confidence of Peugeot Professional on 702.
Coming up
on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive is coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. with John Perlman. John, how are you doing?
Doing very well, thanks. Hope you're well, and good afternoon to all of our listeners.
Doing well. Who must greet first? The visitor or the host? Who must greet? The general consensus is whoever arrived into the space must greet first. But I just realized, as well as I was chatting to Karabo, just because you greeted me in person doesn't mean you greeted me on air. You have to say hello to me.
Oh.
John's face.
Well, I would have said hello, but you're reading an advert.
So who? What is the etiquette for you in your home?
So I think, let me just talk generally. I think that if you are the guest, you should find the host to say, hey, thanks so much for having me. And then they'll say, oh, Relebogile, wonderful to see you. Drinks in that room, whatever. And I know you're looking forward to seeing X, yes, and she or he's on the, you do, that's the stuff you do. If you're the host and you see someone arriving, it's almost a way of saying welcome. So you would probably, but I do think if you haven't seen each other, I think the guest must find the host.
But now the challenge in this particular story is the host was in the bedroom and it's the sister's husband. So she's saying, you didn't greet my husband. Was she supposed to go to the bedroom where the husband was the whole time to go and knock to greet?
No. So I don't think she should prowl the house.
Prowl the
listen
house,
yes,
for
strange noises. But I do think And listen, I don't know these people from a piece of cheese, but I think she should have said, "Hey, lovely to see you. Where's Dave? I'd like to greet him." Because Dave is hosting her. So she fixes it.
I got you.
Yes, because she's been invited. Presumably there's a cold drink or a cup of tea or maybe something to eat being offered. So they're hosting you. Find the hosts, greet them. And if she says, listen, he's having a nap, he's got a headache, he's in a bad mood or whatever. But you've bridged the little gap between doing nothing, which I don't think you can, do nothing, and being intrusive and saying, "Oh, I'm just going to go around the house looking for your husband." That would be odd.
And then if there are kids in the house, is it right to fetch them to make them greet visitors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially in this modern era, by the way.
Because people don't greet. Everybody's saying people don't greet anymore.
No, and I went to a place, admittedly, I didn't know the people, and I didn't actually know the hosts. I was brought along as a,
plus one.
Yeah, we were staying with them. They said, we've got John and his wife staying. Can they also come? Yes, you're welcome. But the kids who really were old enough to know better, I mean, they looked to me 19 or whatever, were on their iPads and on their devices.
Gosh.
Not only did they not greet, they didn't look up. So I think early on you say to kids, we're having guests, you may not know this person, but come in, I just want to introduce you, say hi.
Yes, I like that one. Okay, because the weirdest thing is having a stranger walking around in your house. And you're like, why are we bumping into each other in my kitchen?
Yeah.
What's going on? Okay, I absolutely love that. What's coming up on your show today?
Yeah, I mean, nothing as interesting as that, I must admit. But seriously, Betway Premiership football, for many seasons, we've had, Sundowns, blah, blah, blah. No disrespect to them, magnificent champions, but it's really been one-way traffic. We have a title race. Pirates play Sundowns tonight. It absolutely merits. Look forward to the game, but also a larger conversation about how nice it is. Now, we're keen to hear from Sundowns fans. Are you enjoying it more now that you get to experience what in England is called squeaky bum time, where you get properly nervous for your team?
Really? I didn't know about that term.
I think it came from Alec Ferguson, who was entitled to call anything he liked.
I see.
Because, after all, the goat and all that. What else are we doing? So the Madlanga Commission, very, very important day, day 1 of 4, where the Deputy National Police Commissioner, General Shadrack Sabia, so far, I think mainly sticking to what he wants to talk about in his affidavit. It's going to get tighter as we go deeper in. Oren Singh is watching that, and he's done a lot of important background work, Oren has, on what Shadrack Sabia said in other forums about key issues. So Oren's the man. He's with us at 10 minutes past 5. South African Local Government Authority says local government gets a bad rap because they don't actually have enough money to spend. Their critics will say, thank goodness, because they don't always spend it wisely, but we'll engage with them on the arguments they're putting forward. And then in Ekurhuleni, big shake-up in the Metro government. Not great for people who live there. Shake-ups are generally very bad for residents, but we'll speak to Alpha Ramushwana. He's got an inside track on what's going on.
Thank you so much. 702 Drive with John Perlman coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. And as the previous caller said, the one answering, it's on them to say hello first. The one calling says hello after. Coming up.
702
Masterclass.
We continue with our masterclass today as we are chatting Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026, but it's all about art. And we're with Ndumiso Nyoni on 702. I nearly just said Ndu, like I'm in the inner circle already. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 on 702. I kind of feel like if you've been in studio with me for up to an hour, we're friends. This is like my version of my home here.
No, absolutely.
Nah.
And you welcome me. So
thank you.
I was trying to think, did I greet first? Or I was like, are you subbing me?
Well, technically, I walked into the room, found you here, and I greeted you first.
But I stood up and
you did. Ay, Marwena, unalumenaz. So earlier on, we were talking about the different titles you have and what it is that the work actually entails. We covered illustrator, we covered a graphic designer and motion graphics. Now, you are going to be doing more than that at the Fusion Fest. So what are the other titles I may have missed from your
multi-talented?
I
think you've got them all. I think you missed creative director.
Oh, bro. Please, actually, because I love the title of creative director, and please share what that entails. And so for everybody that is listening, there are so many different types of creative directors, and you have advertising industry, you have television, you have
fashion.
creative directors for stage, you have creative directors for museums even. So there are so many different versions of what that is. Share with us the kind of creative director you are and where you thrive, even though I know from having gotten to know you for these past 2 minutes that you would probably take on any challenge, whether it be a music video, be an awards show, you would show up.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got a friend, Fumani. So she jokes that creative directors are professional vibes checkers. So we're there to just check the vibe and just make sure that...
I'm sorry, I need to put that on a t-shirt. Professional vibe checker.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that.
Because, I mean, if you look at it, I think I normally say this to, the guys that I mentor. As a creative director, you're the one person who's supposed to, in your mind's eye, see what the final picture will be before anyone else sees it. So you're there when the brief is given in, this is what we want to do. You're the one who's supposed to take that brief, internalize it, and figure out how it's going to show up visually. In my world, what that means is I'm basically there to steer the ship, So
You're the visionary.
Basically, yeah. Visionary and implementer, because you're in the trenches as well. You roll up your sleeves and you also do the work. So, yeah.
And also, depending if you're wearing multiple hats on a specific project, you're the one who's going to fight for the creative against the ones that are holding the purse.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's normally where the fight happens. It's normally between creative, and finance. That's normally where the most blood is shed and someone loses.
Yes.
It's always someone loses.
It's usually the one without the money that loses. We're going to take a call. Brian in Four Ways. Brian, go ahead. Hi.
Good afternoon, Relebogile. Make sure that I greet properly.
Next time, or say, Relebogile.
Dumela. Relebogile, just a quick one. In this age of AI, I wanted to ask your guest. There are students right now who are sitting and studying digital, creative sort of services, be it graphic design and all the other disciplines. What is the advice in terms of bringing AI into the physical, creative part of things? In the past, somebody would have a sketch and a pencil, and they would create a beautiful piece of work. But these days, you can download an app from an app store and start creating logos and things like this. So what is your guest's advice in terms of any other training or additional training that students must do over and above their own creative spirit and their own creative prowess?
And I think it's such a powerful question that bleeds into multiple industries. What I can say before you jump in here and do is we can see when you used AI. We can see. And don't think it's only industry individuals they can see. The public can see. So what are your thoughts on that, especially for young people who might be afraid that their skills are becoming obsolete?
Very good question. Thanks for that question, Brian. I get asked all the time about AI, and it's true. You can actually see when something has been created in AI. And, it's not because it lacks polish. I think it's because it lacks character. It lacks that blood, that sweat, that thought that's gone into it. And that's one thing that I'm thankful to UJ for. I remember when we first started, for 6 months, we weren't allowed to touch computers. We basically had to do traditional fine art. So we did painting, we did sculpture, we did volume and design, basically all the tactile stuff, drawing. And what that does is it actually wires your brain differently. It actually gets you to grapple with what it is you're creating. So that when you move on to that computer, which is there to assist you. That's what the AI is there for. It's there to assist you. It's not there to drive the creative and be everything. So I think just by relying on it alone, you basically lose that foundation. And, without that foundation, it might look flashy at first, but it will lack that depth and that soul. And that's how you're able to spot.
And I think also you start to, people have a style. You get, for example, what's the animator who does those is it Macheu or I can't remember, but
there's Mdu Comics.
Yes. There's the very local one that they do all the skits. Now you can see the signatures.
Yes.
Let's use South Park as an example.
Yes.
The characters are drawn so specifically and distinctly that within the first season, you would even see a new character, but you'd know it's from South Park without even that. 100%. The problem with AI right now is everything looks the same.
100%.
It looks the same, no matter how much you prompt, and it might reach a time where it doesn't, but we still need the human being behind it because you, in essence, are the storyteller.
Absolutely. And if anything, AI will always borrow from what exists, So, we're talking earlier on about how, one of the tasks of an illustrator is to create something that's never been seen before. AI is relying on this library of, stuff that's happened in the past.
Yes.
I think with the human, you'll always be able to kind of venture into uncharted territory because, you get inspiration from different things, whether it's music, it's books. You're not just referencing illustrations only.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to chat more about Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026 and what to expect.
Different sounds, different worlds.
Different artistic expressions, music, art, and fashion collide. Are you coming? Let's go to the place where the beat drops, the fashion pops, and the art rocks.
We're talking Focalistic, Daliwonga, Mafigi Zolo, Kurt Darren, Matera Doughboy, Zoe Mudija, Claire Johnston from Mango Groove, the Tswani Gospel Choir, and more. Mahindra Fusion Fest, Saturday 7th March, Sunbet Arena. Tickets on Ticketmaster now. See you there.
This is a message from Johannesburg Water. Water infrastructure vandalism has tragic and dangerous consequences. The theft of manhole covers can result in fatalities, especially among children. Each damaged pipe, illegal hookup, or vandalized pump jeopardizes access to clean water, disrupts service, and threatens public safety. Report suspicious activity to the City of Johannesburg at 0800 002 587. Help combat water infrastructure vandalism. Your alertness can prevent disasters. Johannesburg Water, a water utility that cares.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
702
Masterclass.
And we continue with our Masterclass, Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026 with Ndumiso Nyoni on 702. And we have been chatting all about the skill sets and all the details around the art, including AI. But if you have not been inspired by now with all the amazing opportunities that are in the space, that art bleeds into so many different industries, not just media. And if you just take a moment today, as you are walking around and going about your day, sitting in traffic, take a moment to recognize what is art. Some of it is just nature in itself. And you start to see negative spaces. You start to see specific colors. There are birds that are unique. Art is everywhere. So I think it's so important we pay attention. Now, with the Mahindra Fusion Fest, are you going to be Ras Dumisanaring there? Explain what you're doing and what can people look forward to.
Okay, cool. So maybe just a bit about how it all comes together,
yes.
right? Because the Mahindra Fusion Fest is basically a celebration of the arts, the culture around art. So we're basically fusing fashion, visual arts, which would be me, and music. And we'll bring it all together into these, I think there'll be 4 fusions. So it's basically a mashup of different artists from different genres. There will be a fashion aspect to it. And then where I come in is in this particular year, because I did it last year as well, I'll be doing some of the artwork that you'll see on stage. So some of the stage design, the graphics that will be going on in the background for my set. Yeah.
And I think that is so dope. Now, maybe an aspect that people might not think about is when you are doing graphics, you have to look at the pixel count. You have to look at. So let's talk a bit about the technical aspect of what you need to think about when you are designing graphics for an audience that is an in-room experience, and maybe also an audience that might be watching a video later.
100%. So, I mean, yeah, it's good that you mentioned that. It's not all just peace, love, and veggies, like in the traditional sense of art.
Yes.
It's very technical as well. So you need to understand like aspect ratios, what sort of screen is this showing up on. Fortunately, what happens is whenever you get a brief, they will tell you what the pixel count needs to be. So what resolution you're working
Explain
towards.
pixel count in the simplest way.
Absolutely.
And resolution. So if you hold your phone upwards,
Yep.
right, like you were about to call someone,
Yes.
this is what we refer to as portrait,
100%.
which is 9:16 in our language.
Yes.
And
Spot on.
if you turn it to its side, which is landscape, that's 16:9.
Yes.
Now jump in to explain what the pixel count and resolution refers to.
100%. So basically, and the way I used to explain this, and it shows my age, when you look at those old school, I think the CRT TVs,
Yes.
when you obviously shows that I was a naughty kid because I used to put my face right up front by the TV and I could see like the individual blocks, the green.
Yes.
So basically, any screen that you look at is made up of little squares. So
Yes.
those are called pixels. So when you were talking about 9:16 or 16:9, that's basically a ratio of how many pixels are in the width versus in the height.
Yes.
So a lot of people will know this. Like they'll say, shoot me in HD. HD is just a pixel count. It just means,
Yes.
it's 1,920 pixels by 1,080. And all this you kind of need to learn and remember.
So in essence, the higher the resolution, the bigger you could blow up the picture.
Absolutely.
Without it going blurry and people looking funny. So you can see when you're watching an old movie and you're trying to bootleg on YouTube.
Yes.
It's not as
Crisp.
That's
That's
yes,
the word.
that's the one.
Yeah.
So there is that technical side of it, which
Yes.
of course makes a big difference into how you're going to design. So if let's say you want to design someone's face, you don't want it to get cut off by the ear.
Exactly. So you will be given those dimensions. So with Mahindra, they actually gave us the dimensions for the stage. And basically I had to make sure that my artwork would fit perfectly within those dimensions, within that width and within that height. And then like you're saying, from a pixel count, because it's going to be this huge thing behind people, it needs to still be crisp and clear. For people who are at the back of the auditorium, they should be able to see it clearly as well.
And then, of course, there are rules that you follow in terms of things like colors, what's going to read better
100%.
in the room.
So with this one, it was quite interesting because, so I'll tell you a bit about my fusion. My fusion is a fusion of Blackie and Maglera Doughboy and Tswane Gospel Choir. So it's quite a fusion. And I think with that, I had to do a bit of research, from a color perspective, because you're getting these different worlds all together and they need to blend from a color perspective. So I looked at Blackie and how green appears a lot,
Yes.
in his, artwork, his cover artwork and stuff. With Maglera, a lot of his videos are black and white. But what I did find is that he's quite suave. He's got this swag about him. He
Yes.
wears these nice suits and stuff. So I thought, a nice burgundy, red, magenta would complement that green. And then with the
So nice to talk to a man who knows colors.
Yes.
Yes.
Complementary colors.
Yes.
And then, just to kind of, balance it out with the Tswana Gospel Choir, we basically use some blues in that as well. So, I hope everyone will enjoy how it comes together on the night from a musical perspective, but also from a visual perspective, because it's these very different worlds coming together. And I like how you've touched on color, because that's actually what brings it all together.
And I mean, I know you and I could have another 3-hour conversation delving into print, delving into inspiration of textures. How do you give depth? How do you sync to the lighting and to the music? Unfortunately, we don't have time for that. But what all of you can do is go to ticketmaster.co.za to get your tickets for the Mahindra Fusion Fest. And really, it is a fusion of different types of music, different types of fashion, different types of art. We had Tula Cindy last week, really just sharing about what went into his vision. And now we have Mahindra really standing strong behind something so beautiful. It's happening the 7th of March at the Sunbet Arena. You don't want to miss it. Ndu, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Boschdorf, why is there a horse in your driveway?
You right, Savvy. Why drive a Mustang when you can ride one?
What the missus say?
Well, she had a bit of a long face, but now she's stable.
If you need a backup plan, WeBuyCars can sort you out.
Nah, Savvy, this thing is eco-chic.
Stop horsing around, cowboy. Rather get one of these from WeBuyCars.
What's the horsepower on that thing?
More than one, Dorf. More than one.
Don't be Dorf, be savvy. We buy cars, geared for adventure, geared for you.
All Scholar Transport operators are required to comply with the following mandatory requirements. All required licenses and certificates must be renewed annually for minibus taxis and biannually for buses in accordance with applicable regulations. Overloaded, unroadworthy, or unlicensed vehicles will be impounded without exception. Every vehicle must be equipped with an appropriate and fully stocked first aid kit at all times. Routine safety inspections are compulsory for all vehicles providing Scholar Transport services. Compliance with these requirements is non-negotiable and is enforced to safeguard the lives of learners and all road users. Issued by the National Department of Transport.
You can become a victim of a legal problem. Wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS LEGAL to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Thank you for joining us on 702 Afternoons. We're back tomorrow. John Perlman is up next. It's 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Police failed to end the gold rush in Springs, and Shadrack Sibia explains the disbandment of the PKTT. Good afternoon, I'm Bali.